Hello and welcome to my poker course, The Poker Blueprint, Learn to Play Good Poker. So I'm super excited that you're here because this is not like any other poker course that I've created, and it's not like a lot of the poker courses that you're used to. We're not going to talk about how to play poker. We're not going to talk about pre-flop strategies, post-flop strategies, how to play against your opponents, what to do in specific situations. We're not going to talk about any of that. Now, while that's important, what I'm covering in this class is also just as important. So instead of talking about in-game strategies and tactics, we're going to talk about those overarching concepts and tactics and strategies in poker that really are just as important. So that's why this course differs. So what are we specifically going to cover? Well, let's talk about that. I have the outline here, and I'm going to read off some of the different things that we're going to cover. So the first thing we're going to cover is the first section that I call the basic poker truths. These are things that will happen when you play poker, and they're things that are very important to poker in terms of a theoretical point of view and things that'll help you to be a good poker player. So some of the things we'll talk about in that section, we'll talk about chance favoring the prepared mind. While that may not make sense now, it will make sense when you watch that lecture. We'll talk about poker being a game of imperfect information and the importance of you making fewer mistakes than your opponents. We'll talk about traits of successful poker players. We'll also talk about the importance of understanding getting in with the best hand is all you have to worry about, and also the importance of understanding that you don't have to be the best player in poker to be successful. So those are some of the concepts we'll cover in there, but we're going to cover a lot more as well. In the next section, we're going to talk about why people fail to beat the game. So in section 2, we'll cover that, and then in section 3, we'll talk about 7 common beginner mistakes and solutions. So in the section where we talk about why people fail to beat the game, we'll talk about things like them applying ineffective strategies and tactics, them overthinking situations, them getting too emotionally involved, and so forth. And then when we talk about the common beginner mistakes and solutions, well, the different mistakes that we're going to talk about, some of them will be things such as playing too many hands, playing too passively, bluffing without a solid reason, underbetting the pot, playing scared poker, and so forth. And then in the next section, which I call Know Thy, we talk about things that are important for you to know, such as knowing thy fundamentals, knowing thy mathematics, and knowing thy enemies. And then lastly, in our final section, we'll talk about winning poker basic game plans, so things that you'll want to do when you play. In this section, we'll talk about things like the importance of being patient, having realistic expectations, always having a plan, and being courageous and other things as well. So you'll notice that this is really high level stuff. This is, some people may call it fluff in poker, but it really is high level overarching things that are going to help you to be a successful poker player. You need to understand everything that I talk about in this course because it's really going to help your poker game and the mental aspect more than anything else. So I'm glad to see you here. Thanks for signing up. No more of this. Let's get through this. Let's get past this introduction lecture, a couple more lectures in this section, and then we'll get into the actual course lectures and get going with this course. So again, thanks for being here, and let's go ahead and let's get started with the next lecture.